Chapter 4. That night, we all checked with our parents. Frankie's mom and dad said if he straightened up his room, he could go. Ashley's mom and dad said okay too. They're both doctors, and they had a conference they were supposed to go to, and Ashley was going to stay with her grandmother anyway. I hope their conference was on how to give booster shots that don't hurt, because I think doctors could use a conference about that. Robert checked with his mom, and unfortunately, she said she'd be thrilled to have him go with us. I don't blame her. If Robert were my son and somebody said, "I'll take this walking encyclopedia off of your hands for a day," boy, I'd jump at that chance. Oddly enough, it was my parents who were the problem. "I know you and Aunt Maxine discussed your performing at the party," my mom said, "but your schoolwork comes first." "But Mom, I already told my friends it was a done deal." "Let's go look at the chart and see if you can afford the time away this weekend." I have a chart in my room that says what all of my assignments are and when they're due. I didn't always have this chart. We just put it up a couple of weeks ago when I found out I have learning challenges. It's not like I'm stupid. It's just that certain things are really hard for me, like almost everything you learn in school. My dad had always thought I was lazy. The principal of my school, Leland Love, said I wasn't living up to my potential. My teacher, Miss Adolph, said I wasn't focusing on my responsibilities. She also gave me 4 D's on my report card. Wow, that really embarrassed me. Then this nice woman who works at my school, Dr. Lynn Berger, gave me a bunch of tests that showed I'm not lazy or stupid. I just learn differently. One of the things she suggested is for me to have a chart in my room that reminds me of everything I have to do in school. That way I won't forget my assignments and I will focus better. We went into my bedroom and looked at the chart. In the square for Monday, I had written the words "Science Project" in red letters. Our actual science projects weren't due for 3 weeks, but by Monday we had to pick our topic and say why we picked it. I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. "Why don't you ask Emily for ideas?" my mother suggested. "She's excellent in science." My sister Emily is 9 annoying years old. Sometimes I think she's really an alien being. There's no other way to explain her behavior. Like, she polishes her fingernails 10 different colors. 20 different colors if you count her toenails. And listen to this. She sleeps with her eyes open. I'm not kidding. She rolls her eyes back in her head and all you see is the white part. If I ask Emily, I already know what she'll say, I answered. She'll tell me to write about reptiles. Emily loves everything that's cold-blooded. If it's ugly and has scales, you can count her in. "What's wrong with reptiles?" said a voice from behind me. It was none other than Lizard Girl herself with Catherine, her pet iguana, wrapped around her neck like a scarf. "Reptiles shed their own skin," I said. "How can you love something that walks right out of its own skin and leaves it there on the ground for other people to crunch on?" "Hank, you are so narrow-minded," Emily said. "At least I don't bite my toenails," I shot back. "Stop it, you two," my mom said, holding up her hand, "or we're not going away for the weekend at all." "Where are we going?" asked Emily. "We're talking about going to Uncle Gary and Aunt Maxine's for the twins' birthday," my mom answered. "We can't do that," Emily said. "What will we do with Catherine? She gets car sick." One time we took Catherine on a trip and she coughed up her lunch. She must have had grapes for dessert because I'm sure I saw a whole green grape there on the back seat. "Dad," Emily screamed, "we need you in here right away. I'm calling a family meeting." Family meetings in our house are not as good as they sound. My mom calls them to remind us not to leave our wet towels on the carpet after we take a shower. My dad calls them to yell at us when we have to pay late fees for rented videotapes. Emily calls them just to whine. I never call them. Why call for a meeting you don't want to attend in the first place? My father walked into my bedroom, still holding the newspaper folded to the crossword puzzle. He's a crossword puzzle fanatic and proud of it. "I'm in a very good mood," he said. "You're looking at the man who just solved today's crossword in 6 minutes and 11 seconds. A personal best." "Congratulations, Dad," I said. "Thank you, Hank. Now what's the problem, Emily?" I'm in a problem-solving mood. Mom says we're making plans to go away for the weekend. No one has made plans for Catherine. Is she not a member of this family? I vote no, I said immediately. She can't stay here alone, Emily whined. She's afraid of the dark. Maybe Papa Pete can look after the beast, I suggested. Papa Pete is my grandpa and the single best human being in the whole world. Catherine is not a beast, Emily said. I was referring to you, I said. That's enough, Hank, my mom said. Besides, Papa Pete can't look after Catherine. He's staying out in West Hampton for a couple of days. He wouldn't miss the twins' birthday. He's their grandfather, too. What did we do with the animals when we went to Niagara Falls last summer? My dad asked. We left Cheerio with Mrs. Fink next door, I said. Cheerio is our beige dachshund dog. We call him that because he's always chasing his tail, and when he spins around in a circle, he looks like a Cheerio. I'll bet Mrs. Fink would watch him again. They really bonded. Catherine stayed at the pet store, Emily said. George took care of her. You remember George, Dad, I said, the pet store guy who looks like a gerbil? He does not, Emily said. He just has a very furry beard. That starts at his eyebrows, I said. Emily, why don't you find the phone number of the pet store, Dad suggested. It's Pets for You and Me, Mom said. The number is on the wall by the kitchen phone. Call and find out how much it would cost to keep Catherine there overnight, Dad suggested. Does this mean we're going? I asked my mom. I'll work on my science project in West Hampton, I promise. My mom thought for a moment. Okay, we'll go. Mom, you're the greatest, I said, giving her a big hug. It's about time you realize that, she said, hugging me back.